The One Thing by Gary Keller. Where I'd had huge success, I had narrowed my concentration to one thing, and where my success varied, my focus had too. When you want the absolute best chance to succeed at anything you want, your approach should always be the same. Go small. Going small is ignoring all the things you could do and doing what you should do. It's recognizing that not all things matter equally and finding the things that matter most. It's a tighter way to connect what you do with what you want. It's realizing that extraordinary results are directly determined by how narrow you can make your focus. You need to be doing fewer things for more effect instead of doing more things with side effects. The moon is reachable if you prioritize everything and put all of your energy into accomplishing the most important thing. Getting extraordinary results is all about creating a domino effect in your life. So, every day they line up their priorities anew, find the lead domino, and whack away at it until it falls. The domino effect applies to the big picture, like your work or your business, and it applies to the smallest moment in each day when you're trying to decide what to do next. Success builds on success, and as this happens over and over, you move toward the highest success possible. The key is over time. Success is built sequentially. It's one thing at a time. There can only be one most important thing. Many things may be important, but only one can be the most important. The one thing is a dominant theme that shows up in different ways. Take the concept and apply it to people, and you'll see where one person makes all the difference. Everyone has one person who either means the most to them or was the first to influence, train, or manage them. No one succeeds alone. No one. You must be single-minded. Drive for the one thing on which you have decided. Passion for something leads to disproportionate time practicing or working at it. That time spent eventually translates to skill, and when skill improves, results improve. Better results generally lead to more enjoyment, and more passion and more time is invested. It can be a virtuous cycle all the way to extraordinary results. Success demands singleness of purpose. The one thing shows up time and again in the lives of the successful because it's a fundamental truth. The one thing sits at the heart of success and is the starting point for achieving extraordinary results. The real solutions we seek are almost always hiding in plain sight. The 6 lies about success that keep us from living the one thing. 1. Everything matters equally. 2. Multitasking. 3. A disciplined life. 4. Willpower is always on will call. 5. A balanced life. 6. Bad is bad. If we're going to maximize our potential, we're going to have to make sure we put these lies to bed. Equality is a lie. Understanding this is the basis of all great decisions. When everything feels urgent and important, everything seems equal. We become active and busy, but this doesn't actually move us any closer to success. Activity is often unrelated to productivity, and busyness rarely takes care of business. Not everything matters equally, and success isn't a game won by whoever does the most. Yet that is exactly how most play it on a daily basis. While to-dos serve as a useful collection of our best intentions, they also tyrannize us with trivial, unimportant stuff that we feel obligated to get done because it's on our list, which is why most of us have a love-hate relationship with our to-dos. Tackling these tasks in the order we receive them is behaving as if the squeaky wheel immediately deserves the grease. The things which are most important don't always scream the loudest. Achievers do sooner what others plan to do later and defer, perhaps indefinitely, what others do sooner. The difference isn't in intent, but in right of way. Achievers always work from a clear sense of priority. Instead of a to-do list, you need a success list, a list that is purposefully created around extraordinary results. If your to-do list contains everything, then it's probably taking you everywhere but where you really want to go. The majority of what you want will come from the minority of what you do. Extraordinary results are disproportionately created by fewer actions than most realize. The 80-20 principle has been one of the most important guiding success rules in my career. I want you to go small by identifying the 20%, and then I want you to go even smaller by finding the vital few of the vital few. You can actually take 20% of the 20% of the 20% and continue until you get to the single most important thing. Start with a list as large as you want, but develop the mindset that you will whittle your way from there to the critical few and not stop until you end with the essential one, the imperative one, the one thing. The inequality of effort for results is everywhere in your life if you will simply look for it. And if you apply this principle, it will unlock the success you seek in anything that matters to you. There will always be just a few things that matter more than the rest, and out of those, one will matter most. Internalizing this concept is like being handed a magic compass. Go small. Don't focus on being busy. Focus on being productive. Go extreme. Once you've figured out what actually matters, keep asking what matters most until there is only one thing left. Say no. Whether you say later or never, the point is to say not now to anything else you could do until your most important work is done. Don't get trapped in the check-off game. Doing the most important thing is always the most important thing. Multitasking is a lie. When you try to do two things at once, you either can't or won't do either well. It's not that we have too little time to do all the things we need to do. It's that we feel the need to do too many things in the time we have. Task switching exacts a cost few realize they're even paying. You can do two things at once, but you can't focus effectively on two things at once. The problem of trying to focus on two things at once shows up when one task demands more attention or if it crosses into a channel already in use. Every time we try to do two or more things at once, we're simply dividing up our focus and dumbing down all of the outcomes in the process. Why would we ever tolerate multitasking when we're doing our most important work? Just because our day job doesn't involve bypass surgery shouldn't make focus any less critical to our success or the success of others. Your work deserves no less respect. Think of it this way. If we really lose almost a third of our work day to distractions, what is the cumulative loss over a career? There is this pervasive idea that the successful person is the disciplined person who leads a disciplined life. It's a lie. Success is actually a short race, a sprint fueled by discipline just long enough for habit to kick in and take over. So, when you see people who look like disciplined people, what you're really seeing is people who've trained a handful of habits into their lives. You can become successful with less discipline than you think for one simple reason. Success is about doing the right thing, not about doing everything right. The trick to success is to choose the right habit and bring just enough discipline to establish it. That's it. Your life gets clearer and less complicated because you know what you have to do well and you know what you don't. The fact of the matter is that aiming discipline at the right habit gives you license to be less disciplined in other areas. When you do the right thing, it can liberate you from having to monitor everything. Decide what the right one is, then give yourself all the time you need and apply all the discipline you can summon to develop it. Those with the right habits seem to do better than others. They're doing the most important thing regularly, and as a result, everything else is easier. Build one habit at a time. If you are what you repeatedly do, then achievement isn't an action you take, but a habit you forge into your life. The key to success isn't in all the things we do, but in the handful of things we do well. I learned that success comes down to this: being appropriate in the moments of your life. And here is the prime condition of success, the great secret. Concentrate your energy, thought, and capital exclusively upon the business in which you are engaged. Voltaire once wrote, "Judge a man by his questions rather than his answers." Indira Gandhi concluded that the power to question is the basis of all human progress. One of the most empowering moments of my life came when I realized that life is a question and how we live it is our answer. How we phrase the questions we ask ourselves determines the answers that eventually become our life. Anyone who dreams of an uncommon life eventually discovers there is no choice but to seek an uncommon approach to living. The focusing question is that uncommon approach. In a world of no instructions, it becomes the simple formula for finding exceptional answers that lead to extraordinary results. To stay on track for the best possible day, month, year, or career, you must keep asking the focusing question. Powered by the focusing question, your actions become a natural progression of building one right thing on top of the previous right thing. When this happens, you're in position to experience the power of the domino effect. The focusing question collapses all possible questions into one. What's the one thing I can do, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? The focusing question is a double duty question. It comes in two forms: big picture and small focus. One is about finding the right direction in life, and the other is about finding the right action. The big picture question: what's my one thing? The small focus question: what's my one thing right now? Whether you seek answers big or small, asking the focusing question is the ultimate success habit for your life. For me, the focusing question is a way of life. Whenever the outcome absolutely matters, I ask it. I ask it when I wake up and start my day. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? And when I know the answer, I continue to ask it until I see the connections and all my dominoes are lined up. Start with the big stuff and see where it takes you. I use it for some things and not for others. I apply it to the important areas of my life: my spiritual life, physical health, personal life, key relationships, job, business, and financial life. And I address life, and I address them in that order. Each one is the foundation for the next. The focusing question can direct you to your one thing in the different areas of your life. Say the category first, then state the question, add a time frame, and end by adding such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. So, how do you make your one thing part of your daily routine? Understand and believe it. Use it. Make it a habit. Leverage reminders. Set up ways to remind yourself to use the focusing question. Recruit support. People do not decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. Low goals don't require extraordinary actions, so they rarely lead to extraordinary results. When you ask a great question, you're in essence pursuing a great goal. And whenever you do this, you'll see the same pattern: big and specific.